Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to the Movement Radio, the radio station dedicated to giving you alternative source of information regarding the Nigerian situation. We are here to help develop the minds of the Nigerians regarding the situation in their country, to help improve and bring courage to those with sheep-like minds so that they might become lions and change their conditions in the harsh reality that they live in the country. We're saying welcome to the Movement Radio. Today we will be doing a few monologue regarding the situation in Nigeria, particularly in the Senate, regarding Senator Natasha Akpoti. We will be delving a little bit into the details and how, most importantly, Nigerians, particularly the elites, have been responding to these issues of Senator Natasha, and how, again, within the Nigerian context, issues are being misdirected, and definitely lost on purpose on what could have been a Rosa Parks moment is being wasted again by the Nigerian elites by misdirecting conversations, discussions, and dwelling on frivolities regarding Senator Natasha. We want to say welcome to the Movement Radio. You can also listen to us live on the movementpublicradio.com. Um, we're broadcasting live from across Nigeria, Africa, England, Belgium, Australia, the United States, and Canada. You can hear us live at this station. All you have to do is just click on the link that takes you to the movementpublicradio.com. You can watch us live on these stations. You're welcome. You're, you're welcome. So, we are here to highlight a few things regarding these issues, particularly in light of the fact that she's a woman. You watch us live on the stations. You know, in the light of the fact that she's a woman, in the light of the fact that she's a senator, a member of the Nigerian elite, uh, in light of the fact that she's a Nigerian, and we want to review these issues from this perspective, and we will be showing you one or two videos and highlighting very, very important factual points regarding this. Please stay tuned, and if you have any comment, please make your comment on the comment page or listen to us live. Um, this again is the Movement Radio. We're broadcasting live from the city of Chicago, and we are going to come to you with alternative sources and information. We don't follow the mainstream media in Nigeria. We believe they cannot deliver Nigeria out of this situation. We believe that the main media in Nigeria are sincerely part of the Nigerian problem. And also, we believe that the entire Nigerian society in itself has been morally compromised, and it is difficult to be able to assess the situations over there. We have many firm belief regarding our purpose. We believe we should not be quiet, that we cannot be quiet. If we are quiet, the problem is only going to get worse. We also believe that we have to keep pushing our voices and keep educating the people, keep bringing them out of the dilemma that they're in. We have these purposely so that we can counter the various propaganda that are out there that are regarding the various situations in Nigeria. We thank you again for joining us tonight. We will be posting a link if anybody wants to join in the conversation as we go ahead. We will invite you to join us in this conversation if you want to be a part of this. And there's so many things that is wrong with our country, and all of us cannot just be quiet or pretend everything is going fine. The country is slowly and gradually dying. The people are terribly suffering. The hardship is terribly unbearable for the people and extremely, extremely painful for the people. Life has been relatively tough for Nigerians. Things have not been easy for them, but they continue to hang in there and struggle with what they can. Some of them are sheepishly following their leaders. In my opinion, the Nigerian situation can best be described or compared to animal farm. And in animal farm, you see the effect of the abuse of the animals from the days of the revolution, which is why we have read the storyline of Animal Farm on our radio station. We read the entire book and it's still on. If you ever tune into our radio station to listen, we highlight the from the days from the revolution from Napoleon to Snowball to how eventually the pigs took the entire animal farm back to those that they said they were getting independence or freedom from. We believe you cannot be quiet on the Nigerian situation. You just have to keep talking. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep striving because silence is indeed not an option. Silence is not an option, and we all cannot be quiet in the face of this massive, terrible oppression that goes on in that country. The country has been hijacked. It doesn't belong to Nigerians. It belongs to a few select group. It doesn't matter what tribe they're in from, but they have collectively have come to an agreement that the best way forward is for them to collectively ravage their country and steal our common heritage. And if we make it a point of duty to continue to clap along and cheer them on, there will never be change. Which is why some of us have decided that our solution sometimes would be to start alternative positions to hear our views, to tell the people the truth, to let them see what they are not seeing, to open their eyes to the blindness that they possess, that their leaders have led them to. This is why we're here to do all these things. We don't think it's going to be an easy task. We believe it's going to be very tough, but we can't give up. We can't give up. Several things been on the news. We don't cover news here. The issue of demolition that occurred in Lagos of those that were living by the riverine area. This was covered by NPR, the National Public Radio here in the States. The issue of a man that was sentenced to death, and the Supreme Court validated his death sentence. And all these issues is just pointing to the fact that the country itself is sick. The country is gone, and it has to take more than just talking to bring things back to the people. It has to take more than just talking. The country is gone, but we can't give up on this great country. We we have to try to change things, not for ourselves, but most particularly for future generations and generations yet unborn. If the Africa or the black race continue They're not really in their activity. They're going forward on a daily basis. They're not keeping quiet. They're making progress on a daily basis. No African, as they don't care much about what the people themselves are going through. All they care about is themselves. Themselves. Is she the female senators going against her position or what she stands for? But we have a different take on this. We believe that those who are going after these women are part of the status quo. They are part of those who want things to remain. Although, as a citizen, I wouldn't advise you to get too enthralled in the war between the elites. The elites, they are the enemies of their country. They're the ones sharing the resources. They're the ones not pushing for a change. Don't get too involved. But the Natasha case, even though she's an elite herself, to me, it's a little bit different. And it requires a totally different angle to it. And we must see a case, we must see ourselves in Natasha. We must see ourselves in Natasha. What particularly caught my interest to do this episode on Natasha was an interview that I saw, and I'm going to stream that interview with you of Natasha. Ayusha Yusuf and journalist from the Channel News Agency, and what we saw during this interview was quite alarming and was quite, not pretty much, I mean, a little bit disturbing to see the media that's supposed to be the champion of the people's cause being the ones that are totally against their own people. Yes, the Nigerian media does this, you know. They don't stand with the people. They are not for the people. They don't care. They just behind the elites, and that's all they care about. So their own elites and their background. So why are we here talking? A few things we want to highlight that, particularly since the world has just celebrated what is called the International Women's Day. The two things we want to highlight on this: the abuse of women in that continent, in Nigeria, is alarming. But it's not only women that are suffering. A collective group of people are also suffering in that country. Um, Citizens are suffering. It's not, and yes, that suffering is not based on tribe. It's not based on religion. But people wants to make you believe that this is based on either tribe, religion, or gender. The Nigerian problem is really hydra-headed. But the sad part of it is that we have not even started the search for solutions yet. Solutions have not started yet, and we are not looking for solutions. We are not addressing key important points and facts in our discussion to bring in a change. It's as if the entire populace of the people have their head embedded in, have their entire head embedded in the sand and completely ignoring the big elephants in the room. This is why we're bringing you this program, and this is why we're here. Let me talk a little bit first about this uh, Natasha situation. Um, Let me talk a little bit about this Natasha situation. Um, the East Natasha situation, I'm on here right now, and we're live right now. You can join us directly either on YouTube under Manuel Ferreira, the Movement Radio, or you can join us live through a phone call. I'm live now, or you can listen directly to our radio on the Movement Radio, the public movement radio.com. Um, the Natasha problem is a very interesting situation that kind of portray um, the Nigerian situation. You see, although some people are calling me, I can't take up calls now because I'm live, but we will take the calls that are coming in later on. We want to uh, yeah, yeah. Since we're bringing you this live, it will be difficult to take up all these phone calls right now. A few people are calling in. I know they want to put their views on it, but we want to run a monologue. I can't take these calls now, but I will take them later, and then we'll be able to discuss more. We want to take this monologue first, and then after the monologue, show one or two videos, then post the link, and then you can join us. I'm getting calls coming in right now, and I can't answer those calls. I'm going to ask some of our callers to please please hold on until we post the link, and then we post things. Those who want to join the forum for discussion can join us then. But first, I have to finish this monologue first that we started. Yeah. So I can take this call. Yeah, because I'm doing this monologue. I'll call them back, and then we can hear their views. So why is this Natasha case very interesting? These are the reasons. The Nigerian government, since inception, not just from 1960 to the time of the military era, has acted as nothing but bullies to its own people. It has continued to bully its own people. It never really care about its own people. It just more or less bullies them to submission. It abuses them. It abuses them, okay, and it insults them. Yeah, that's what the Nigerian government has been historically, and even our purported independence or democracy that we claim to be practicing since 1960 has shown us the same pattern. There has not been any change in the attitude of this government, of Nigerian government generally, towards its people. It is always acted as a bully. It stands on a bully pulpit. It bullies the people by stealing their resources. It bullies the people by violating their right. It bullies the people by showing them that they're the ones in charge. They pick this up directly from the from the colonialist. There's all these negative thing we're saying about the people that govern us. In fact, prominent writers like Dele Ogun calls them managers of the plantation. They are not real parts and parcel of the community. of the African community or the Nigerian community. They are nothing but managers of the plantation. The white folks came, they managed the plantation for a while, uh, took all the resources they can take from there, both human and um, and natural resources. And now those that continue from them are also exactly doing exactly the same thing. They are there to manage the plantation. They are managing it on behalf of their masters, which is the Western world. Because there's no way people would care about their own people that they would be running a system of governance the way we run a system of governance. It's obvious that we don't care about our people, we don't care about our land. The whole land can burn to ashes. Our leaders don't care. Everything can go to ruin as long as they can make their own money. That's why, while the whole world is making flying cars, we're still struggling to provide electricity. And we are 200 million strong. We got people from all over the world, well-educated people, but yet we find ourselves in this predicament, and that's our story. So when Nigeria finally happens to that Senator Natasha, she was crying and reacting, but we can't fault her for reacting because Nigeria happens to anybody that say Nigeria happens to us. Or on this case, this particular incident that is happening to her, we have to look at it from a microscopic point of view, whereby we look it from a wider lens, whereby to see that it's not just happening to Natasha, it is happening to us too. What do I mean by this? If a powerful woman like that, a senator, is being treated like that, and I know a lot of people are going to have questions. Treated like what? How was she treated? She was the one who broke the rules. She's the one at fault. People will come. People will start coming with all these their own counter. But these are the facts. I'm going to quote a writing by one Fayemi. Says, as the world marks another International Women's Day on March 8th, it will serve us well as Nigerians to know which battles we want to fight and what wars are worth winning. We all need to stand and fight for ourselves, and that's a fact. Nobody is going to come from abroad, from a foreign land, and help you fix your country. No, that is not going to happen. We have to be the ones to fix our own countries ourselves. The West is not going to come do it. The Europeans are not coming to do it. Nobody is coming to save Nigeria. You have to save yourself. And but the problem is that your people abroad, the ones who live abroad, are part of the problem. Your elites, the ones who live at home, are part of the problem. You know, they are part and parcel of the problem. So, how do you save people that do not want to be saved? But let me continue with this, Natasha. Before I start adding people to this discussion, I just want to quickly run down this short monologue. It's not that long, and then I can begin to add people on here, and then we can have a discussion on this Natasha problem as much as we want. Yeah. So the key factors are that if a powerful elite, a powerful woman, a senator, is being treated like this, and how is she treated, we all have to stand with her to fight. Because if we fight on our behalf, we are not fighting, we're fighting the system. We're not fighting against against that. But that has not been the case with most of our colleagues in the Senate. You have to understand what they are protecting. They're protecting their income. They're protecting their money. They're protecting the money that the Senate president has control over. What happened in the Nigerian Senate chamber on March 6 is nothing but a travesty. The impunity and the disregard are breathtaking. The entire senators, including the president, demonstrated lack of leadership, which doesn't surprise me. And they exhibited what could be called a group rape. They are nothing but governmental rapists, in my own opinion. Now, it's not just only Natasha that is being abused, but the Nigerian people are being abused. Their so called democracy, in my view, are being abused. And it's not just Natasha Akpoti. And as that was not bad enough, as if that is not bad enough, there was a rush to suspend her for 6 months. They want to suspend her for 6 months, minus her privileges, even when there are court rulings that suspending legislators for more than 14 days is detrimental to their representational functions. This action was clearly designed to humiliate her, to punish her, demean her as much as possible. This is exactly what the Nigerian government is good at doing. It is a government that is very good at humiliating its own people. It's a government that is very good at abusing its own people. It's a government that's very good at insulting its own people. This this is who we've been experiencing for years. From this 1999 all the way back to 1960. This is the Nigerian government. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you are in Nigeria. In fact, it's so bad, people calling up the word, may Nigeria never happens to you. And it's true. This is what we do as a people, as a government. We abuse and insult and bully. I like to use the word bully because that brings it more home. Because that was what they were trying to do to her. When Nigeria happened to her, Natasha was on the receiving end of the so-called owners of Nigeria, who are nothing but bullies and rapists. That's the best way to describe them. They're rapists, they're bullies, and they call themselves government officials. That's all they do. All the news for the entire week, from the demolition in Lagos to the man being sentenced to death for defending himself, shows nothing but the actions of bullies. Nigeria has been hijacked by the most rapacious form of evil men and women. But what we have all witnessed recently cannot be considered normal. But yet, our intellectual elite, who loves to hear themselves speak while wasting an hour or more in front of a screen to utter nothing but ignorance and rubbish, while pretending to be intelligent in the name of analysis, have found ways to make this look normal. Well, she was breaking the rules, and the elite will tell you in a conversation. Even the media, and that's why I'm going to show you the Aisha Yusuf interview with Channel News journalist. Utterly disgusting, although Aisha Yusuf was able to give it to them on them focusing on the wrong stuff, on frivolities, rather than focusing on what is important. If you're suspending a senator for 6 months, you're suspending the people of that district. You're suspending their constitutional right to expression. When you bully their senator, even when they call an order attempt to speak, you're bullying the people because she doesn't stand for herself. She stands for the people of her district, of her area, of her zone, Kogi West. So this is just more than just a Natasha issue, but a lot of people still don't see this. They want to stand on behalf of Akpabio and castigate this woman. They come, use all forms of false lies, narratives. She has 6 children from different men. She accused Reno Mokri, who happens to be lying, because we have a video of that also here that we will show you the lies of Reno Mokri, who was not even in the country at the time. He claims, who was in the country, but he's claiming he was not in the country when she accused him. So they just sent out a barrage of falsehood and lies against this woman for the purpose of just humiliating her. It is only bullies that act like that. And a lot of ignorant elites are on the side of these bullies and on the side of rapists. It shows how bent their moral compass is. Well, you don't have to like her or admire her, even though a lot of people do, but she needs to be respected. Most importantly, she needs to be heard and allowed justice. And every Nigerian also deserves to be heard. You don't, in Nigeria, we don't have rights of citizenships except those in the corridors of power. If the citizens' rights are violated the way they are violating that senator's rights, you can imagine what would happen to an ordinary poor person. If these misogynies in high places continue to do what they're doing to their fellow elites, you can imagine what will happen to the man on the street that has nothing. Well, we've seen it. We don't even need to discuss it. We saw a senator slap slap another man, slap an Uber delivery guy and said, "I would kill you, nothing would happen. I will buy you, nothing would happen." That's the country we live in. So what they want is they want her to be quiet, to be humble, to play by the rules as set by them, the rules that they set. They want you to play. They don't. It's not just her they are talking about, and I mean this literally and figuratively. He's telling you also, a Nigerian, the same thing. Be quiet, be humble, play by the rules. And what rules are we talking about? Rules of corruption. Or else we will deal with you like we dealt with the likes of Dele, Farotimi. We'll deal with you like we are dealing with Natasha right now. And yet, some Nigerians who are purportedly supposed to be enlightened are still standing behind this madness. Well, she broke the rule, they will say. Only 4 women out of 109 senators. But the landlord always makes sure that the tenants know their place. But this case, we are not even tenants in our own country. We are slaves. Slaves or subjects. And the subject must know their place. The moment you forget your place, you will be forcefully reminded of your place. I suspend you. I hit the gavel. I am the big man. I am in charge. You are not. Forgetting that that country belongs to both of us. They don't realize that. They don't remember that. They don't know that. Yeah. That's the Nigerian way. And some Nigerians are so used to this, their brains are so dead to their own right that they don't even see that Natasha is a mirror image of themselves. Well, they're hoping that one day they will be the one in Akpabio's seat, pushing down the gavel. You see, I am the moderator. I am in charge here. I can decide to kick you out, lock you up, put you anywhere I want. To put it honestly, this is not about Natasha. This is about every Nigerian citizen whose rights are being violated. And there are those who have been asking a lot of stupid and dumb questions. Is she the only person? Is this, that? I want to tell them that they need to go ask their own mothers what their mother has gone through to get to where she is, or ask themselves as a Nigerian, how has Nigeria favored them? The fact is, in Nigeria, the elite has kept the discussion on primordial level of either sex or big man's rights and a senseless procedures rather than seeing it as a Rosa Parks moment. You know, when Rosa Parks, the American lady who wouldn't leave the back of a bus because white people told her her place is the back of a bus. This is a Rosa Parks moment. And Natasha could start as our Rosa Parks. One, because she's part of them, she's an elite. And two, she's saying to them, I have a right to protest. We not even consider the issue of sexual harassment, which is a serious issue. We are saying our right as a senator to speech, our right to protest is being violated. We have educated morons coming to see this as an issue of procedures. She deserves to be punished. There was a senator that was punished like that also, who raised an issue of corruption. That one was sentenced to another 6 months. So this is a continuous pattern for those in government in Nigeria to muzzle and censor opposing views. And how in the world is a country going to develop if views are censored, if views are not allowed, if other opinions are muzzled? This is the issue why this whole thing is not about Natasha. And people have to wise up and see it for what it is. As long as we keep our heads in the sand regarding this, we will go nowhere as a country or as a people. Nigeria, as currently constituted, is a country of vice and vile. It is a fraud. It's a conception of evil. Nigeria, as currently constituted, is a crime scene, and it dishonors the black race. That's my few monologue on this issue. Let me see if anybody want to join this. But first, I have a video I want to show you about the interview. The interview that Aisha Yusufu had with channels. You can see the colonial mentality in the head of the journalists who were interviewing her, as they were raising the wrong question. And Aisha Yusufu keep bringing them back that you're asking the wrong question. This is not a procedural issue. This is a constitutional, civil, human rights issue. The right to a voice, the right to a protest. But they don't see it. They won't see it. They don't want to see it. They want to be themselves, and that's who they are. We can't fault them for this. I'm going to play that video while I keep quiet for a while and try and see and bring people who wants to contribute. A few people called me earlier. I'm sorry I couldn't pick up the call because I've not finished the initial monologue about this whole thing. Nigerians got to wake up and see that their country is gone. It's gone not because of the bad people, but because of the silence of those that claim to be good. The purported educated people, their silence, their collective silence on issues that matters, their lack of position, lack of reaction, lack of opinion, or having false opinion, misleading opinion, misdirected opinion. And every day they want to come here and complain, and they want to blame Tinubu. Tinubu is not responsible for this. You are. Tinubu has nothing to do with this. Yes, he's the godfather for Akpabio, but you are. You that comes out to criticize Natasha, you that comes out to talk about her personal life, you that comes out to say it's a procedural issue, you are Nigerians' problem. And some of us got to tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. We got to be out here saying it, starting a radio station, talking about these things. You that refuse to talk on the truth, on the elephant in the room, that have your head buried in the sand, you are that country's problem. We will continue to say what we got to say. It's left for you all to pick it up. But we're not going to be quiet. We're not going to be silent. We'll keep pushing. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to share a video of that interview. I will interject once in a while just to make my point about the low IQ mentality of our Nigerian journalists. I'm not abusing anybody, and if it's an abuse, let them take it in confidence. They deserve it. No country is going to develop with this level of thinking, with this level of myopic mediocrity level of stuff. the way I just got to show you that interview. Let me just stop for now and share that particular interview with you all, and then we can take it from there. There's Aisha Yusufu on Channel News being interviewed by a Channel reporter, and you can see these are the kind of people fella calls those with colonial mentality. They shouldn't even be journalists. I'm sorry. It seems like the audio from that video is not playing. I would have to start it all over again. I apologize for that. I would check the audio and have it to start that video again so you can listen. I apologize. And check that video again. Okay. Hold on. We're going to check that video again and refocus it. Let's see. Hold on. Make sure the video is playing properly. Okay. Play this again. Start that.
Yesufu, on this one. So we saw a representation of Senator Akpoti Uduaghan's petition yesterday. This time around, differently signed, and some would say seemingly an acknowledgement that perhaps she's not abreast of the Senate rules. So that, alongside a mix of a handling of these matters from the beginning, what would you say how would you assess a handling of these matters?
You know, as a nation, the fact that we're so invested in technicalities and all of that, sometimes certain things are done to challenge certain positions and certain rulings. Why is it that on a situation, I think what the Nigerians should be asking is that why is it that a petition that has to do with something where you feel aggrieved that you're having to look for someone else to sign it for you? That's the conversation we should be having. Listening to your conversation earlier on, I heard where you talked about having to now jump bike, and this is the reality of a lot of Nigerians. But we're okay with that. We move on. Just also to recap the fact that we're talking about this and as what women should be fighting for. This is not about women. This is about a nation. This is about us citizens. The fact that we almost seem to be enslaved in our own country. And there is a pattern. And I think what we need to focus on, we like to major in the minor as a people. Let's focus on the major issue. One is the fact that there is an allegation here, and in the course of all that, I call it a charade. And I think there was one of the presenters who took a word out of my, because I've written it, I was like, the Senate almost seems as if it's a court-like, MiFi-like institution, where anybody who speaks or goes against the institution is immediately suspended. But when they do wrong, they are never suspended. You've never heard of a senator or a National Assembly member being suspended because they did something wrong. It is always when they are either fighting for their rights or on the side of the people that they are always being suspended. Having said that, also is the fact that what should concern us, we should be majoring on right now. And I didn't hear that in the course of the conversation. Maybe when I was thrown off, the Zoom had problem. You guys have talked about it. Why wasn't Senator Akpoti asked to step down for the moment that they were going to do that session? Why was he seated? How do you come? You're the person who is being accused of something, and then you judge your own matter. In what world does that sound okay? Even if the senators didn't have the courage to ask him to step down, didn't Senator Akpoti have the integrity to excuse himself and say, because this matter, I am a party to this matter, I will not sit on this, I will come down. The thing also we also should be talking about, and I'll round up with this one, for us to focus on the major, not on whether she knows the rush, she doesn't, because if we begin to talk of senators who have done a whole lot that that has not gone with the rules, there are many out there. The thing we should also be asking, why would the Senate have the right to take away something the Constitution has given one? Because becoming a sin, why do they have a right to suspend you from your legislative duties? I understand that you've done something, there should be punishment, you can be suspended from being part of a committee or doing any the other things. But one was voted by a constituency and they sent the person to the Senate. The Senate, the members of the Senate are not the ones that gave that power to that person, but they have a right to take it away, something that the Constitution has given. These are conversations we should be having. Thank you.
All right. I'm tempted to ask, just before I go to Mr. Onyekpere.
Well, you can see now from Aisha's Yusuf response there that she's taking on the press, the Nigerian elite. Like, you guys are always focused on the wrong stuff, on the wrong thing, things that are not relevant or important. You're always focused on the things that's not going to help the country, help the people. You're asking frivolous questions when you should be focused on constitutional issue. You are the press. You should be educating the people on what matters the most, the constitutionality of their representation, which no mini laws can override. But rather than address the concern that Aisha Yusuf was also raising, they're going to now, you keep watching, they're going to attack Aisha Yusuf's person. They're going to be on the defensive. You see, the Nigerian press, the Nigerian elites are the problem. Because if they are doing their job right, their country will not be in a mess. If they are asking the right question, that country will not be in a mess. But they are envelope journalism, they practice envelope journalism. I call them tripod journalists. They want to kiss the ring. You can't run a country where everybody that's supposed to talk is kissing the ring. It's not a mafia-like system. Well, it is the way Nigeria is. If you only see, but just look at our educated, look at the press, look at the kind of nasty questions there. Let's keep playing, and then you keep listening. I apologize for that voice interruption that you couldn't hear it. I have to replay that. But let's continue. And this is what we are here to tackle. That's why we are not going to go by anything that the main media talks about, because they are confused people. They are ignorant people. They shouldn't be representing the people. They shouldn't be talking on behalf of. They shouldn't be asking questions on behalf of the people, because they are for the status quo. They are for the corruption, for the insanity, for the illegality. when judges will give rulings that are contrary to the law, there would be no single journalist who would ask such a judge a definite question. Nobody to put a microphone on Akpabio's mouth and ask him to explain how you think you can suspend someone who was sent there by people. Are you more powerful than those people? Yeah, Nigeria, yeah, man, anything goes. If you understand our country, man, it's a sick environment. But let's continue the video so you can watch yourself and see what I'm talking about.
If I glean anything from what you have said, is it okay to break institutional rules in the path to advocating for what is right?
It is not okay to break institutional rules. It is okay to challenge institutional rules. There are some of them that you need to bring to the fore. The reasons why rules get better is that there are some rules, when you look at them, they are not just, they are not either not ethical, or they just don't make sense. And in challenging them, you get them to be changed. So let me give you and I'm going to go back to the civil rights movement. When Rosa Parks refused to stand up, you understand, it was a rule that whenever you see a white person, there's no seat, you have to give up your seat. When she refused to stand up, that was challenging a rule that didn't make sense. And along the way, this is the conversation we should be having. So it's not, nothing is always written in black and white. Where in the world does it make sense? I have an issue, I have a problem, something has been done against me, and then I need someone else to write a petition on my behalf. I think lawyers call something busybodies when you go and carry something that it's not on your behalf. It doesn't make sense. So certain rules should be challenged, and in challenging them, yes, you do it and say, let's talk about these rules. So not to talk about the technicalities of, oh, whether she understands what she's doing, she was called someone. Something has been done against me, and then I need someone else to write a that came in a Supreme Court senator, so she doesn't know this, she doesn't know that. Half of the, in short, 99.9% of the people at the Senate, what do they really know?
All right. I'll take the same question to Mr. Onyekpere. What are your thoughts on Senator Akpoti Uduaghan's handling of her case of allegations of sexual harassment against the Senate president? And what are the lessons for her?
The questions you are asking to me, and what so many senators we are talking about on radio and television, is the sheer pedestrianization of a very, very serious national issue. They left the substance of the matter and went into abstruse, nonsensical, I dare say, formalism. How can the Senate display so much impunity writ large? A matter had been taken to court, and the court had given an interim order, gave a return date, and they thought in their own wisdom that they have a right to override the constitutional right of a citizen, of a senator, to go to court to present the matter wherever he feels that his civil rights and obligations have been violated. So what the Senate had done is unconstitutional, is illegal, and the whole way the matter was presented, pedestrianized and discussed, is just the usual old boys club, where they found somebody who they can now think is a stranger. Therefore, he or she must be dealt with to teach him or her a lesson. So asking about Senator Natasha's knowledge of the rules is neither here nor there. That's not the point. Somebody has alleged that somebody sexually assaulted her. Okay? So if that is the case, that is a very weighty matter that does not require the man just sitting down there and laughing and presiding over his own case. Are we primitive? Are we not civilized enough? I am outraged at what has happened, because if we continue going this way, the world is not waiting for us. Sooner than later, already nobody takes us seriously. We are going to be marked as a nation of people who don't use their common sense. So it has nothing to do with our knowledge. It has everything to do with the character and lack of integrity of those who operate in the system and simply want to drown the voice of somebody who raises a dissenting opinion. it is not proper, it is illegal, and it is unconstitutional. Finally, how can you suspend somebody elected to represent a zone for 6 months? Even under their rules and what the courts have said, the highest you could suspend such a fellow is about 2 weeks or thereabout. So who will be speaking on behalf of that zone for the 60 days? Withholding salaries and all this. You could see the punitive backward mentality in how they announced with glee their punishment. Those in favor say aye, those against say it's ridiculous, extremely ridiculous.
All right. Well, Mr. Ekperi, we would appreciate if you just go straight to the question without denigrating the person of my colleague or the question. I think that left a very bad taste. We can ask the questions based on what the people think, and we appreciate if you answer, without seeming to denigrate our person or the questions being asked. But I want us to move forward in the sense that I think both of you have agreed that there needs to be something done about the standing order, the rule book of a Senate, in that it doesn't allow or provide that channel to allow people who have been aggrieved.
Yeah, did you hear that journalist trying to attack Aisha Yusuf instead of honing up to his responsibility as a journalist to say you are asking the wrong question, you are asking frivolous questions on a serious matter? I don't know what kind of schools these people went to or what kind of education they get, but this is why the country is in a mess. When we have people who went to school, but the quality of what they are producing in public is quite disgraceful. This is disgraceful. And someone is calling you to order that you're not doing your job right, rather than own up to it and come up with better questions to ask regarding the seriousness of the issue. What would you do? You rather attack the personality of Aisha Yusuf for raising that issue that she cannot tell you what question to. Yes, she can tell you what question to ask if you're not asking a reasonable, sensible question. If you're asking stupid, retarded question. A whole senator is saying she's been sexually harassed and they are not allowing her to speak. If they can do that to a senator, what do you think they would do to you, a common journalist? What do you think they would do to the man on the street? This is bullying. This is mafia muscling someone. Are they running a mafia system? And you are a journalist. You're supposed to speak on behalf. Please don't speak on behalf of the people. Mirror what is happening in the society and speak truth to power. No, not Nigerian journalists. No, they will line up behind the mafia king and kiss his ring. Attacking those that are calling you to order on that stupid question that we're asking. Let me continue with that.
To really seek redress in that sense. So you have to be a part of that cult in that sense, which means that if you go against it, you might not get redress. You always have to align in that sense. And I want both of you to speak to it. So where do we move on from here? Because it looks like everybody agrees that something needs to be done. But who is going to bail the cat? And I'll begin with Mrs. Yusuf, then come to you, Mr. Ekperi.
How do we move on from here is to take issues seriously. When he talked about, he wasn't denigrating you. He was just talking about the seriousness of this issue. I didn't say it in the studio. It's not about being denigrating. Our lives as a people, our lives has turned to nothing. We are suffering in our country, and it comes from here. And every day we get mockery from the people, and when we come to media, we're expecting the seriousness of the issue to be taken on, and there's laughter, and so that's it. The questions were more focused on, what Senator Natasha has done. No, that's not it. The question should be on, why do we have this? Someone has come out to talk about sexual allegations, and we live in a country where people are not protected.
Any laughter. I'm not sure if you can
please?
see me, but there's no laughter on my face. So I'm not sure where you got the laughter from, Mr. Yusuf.
I'm the one, I'm giving you feedback on what I felt from what you said. You guys,
No,
when
you
you were
said there
having
was
your
laughter on my
probably
face,
did it.
and I'm putting it to you that there was.
and let's
laughter on
move
my
on. You
face.
can ask
Mrs.
other
Yesufu.
viewers. And so this
There
is the
might not be laughter on his face, but there was sure stupidity in his question. That's for sure.
thing. Let's talk about these things. Talk about these things and seriously, with the seriousness that is required.
Mrs.
Right?
Yusufu, I need you to
acknowledge.
I need you to acknowledge that there was no laughter on my face when I asked you the question. So you said there was laughter on my face.
They should have made him acknowledge that there's stupidity in his question.
I think so when you asked, I said when the conversation was going on.
Which of the conversations?
I joined this program before 7. I came on before 7. So I've stayed here for quite a bit. And that's what I'm talking about. And I'm saying right now, we have a Senate where a travesty has just gone on. And as a nation, we're almost like moving it. It's almost like a joke. And so it is not the joke. So I'm saying he's not denigrating you. I'm giving you feedback. If you want us to do the back and forth here, if I need to continue with the question, I would gladly.
No, there's no back and forth here. I just need to put things in proper perspective so people watching will understand what this is about. We're asking you questions. How do we move forward? And that's what the question is.
Yeah, so the proper perspective is the stupidity of the journalists, the stupidity, the moronness of their actions, of their questions, making frivolous questions when serious issues are at hand. That's the issue they need to address. And that is what is killing their country. The elite, the stupidity of the elite, the foolishness of the elite. That's our problem. People who are not qualified to hold the microphone, holding the microphone and asking stupid questions when serious issues are on the ground. Serious issue. If a senator can be treated like that, talking about sexual harassment, and she cannot speak. And here are journalists hammering on issues of procedures, as if procedures is more serious than sexual harassment. Let's not even leave the issue of sexual harassment aside. Let us talk about constitutional issue of suspending somebody who is representing a constituent. Here we have dumb, stupid elites. Nigerian elites are Nigerians' problem. Collective silence. Nigerian elites are Nigerians' problem. They are too stupid for words. Too stupid. Too ignorant. Too dumb. I don't know what schools they went to that gave them their certificate. They need to withdraw it. That's why the country is a shithole, according to Donald Trump. The country will remain a shithole as long as we have journalists like this.
I really don't understand the backtracking, and I think this is what will really mess up the conversation if we're not able to tackle the issues as they are. How do we fix the issues in the Senate, in the institutions? Those are the questions, Mrs. Yesufu.
The question, before you ask the question, you talked about that your colleague was degraded. And I needed to give you context that they weren't denigrated. It was a question that was raised when he said that.
And she didn't smile. She didn't smile when she...
Here we go again. Here's another travesty. I'm going to have to pause.
When she asked the question.
I'm going to have to pause this for a moment. Here's another travesty. The Senate is misbehaving and you're asking a citizen how to fix the Senate. Shouldn't you point a microphone to the Senate president, to those in the Senate, and ask them how do they fix the problem in the Senate? You see how stupid Nigerian journalists can be. This is a travesty on its own. You have a country where you have people in government who don't provide you with road, education, electricity, nothing. And you're asking the citizen, how does a citizen fix a problem that's coming from the Senate? Where are your senators? Don't you have 109 senators? You could point a microphone to them and say, how do you fix the problem? Do you even acknowledge there's a problem? Did you even let them know there's a problem? But you want to do a pushback to a citizen who is responding and reacting to the injustice that's emanating from your house of governance. You see how stupid Nigerian elites can be. Boy, they piss me off. Let's continue.
realize that there was no smile on her
There's been a
face.
back and forth instead of focusing on the issue
Exactly.
right
So
now.
please
In
answer
the
the
course of the
questions.
conversation, we're doing a back and forth. If you would like, allow me to give you
No,
what
facts
it is.
just have to be laid on the table, so nothing is misconstrued. That's all.
Exactly the same reason why I needed to give you that. It's not the smile. I said the room, the way it was, as if the seriousness of what we've just witnessed. It's not even here, talk less of on the street as we go on. And I need us to understand, this is a major issue. How do
Yeah, Olumide, I saw your comment. It's not just that journalist. It's a collective of Nigerian elites. All those that went to school, they call themselves doctors, lawyers, professors. That's why a professor will rig an election for a school, for a drug baron. So someone who never went to school. Because of the imbecilic nature of our elites. And that's what that journalist is exhibiting. And Aisha is calling him to order. We see him doing a pushback. How does Aisha fix the problem in the Senate? Is Aisha in the Senate? Olumide, I'm responding to your comment. You see how stupid Nigerian elites are, and they don't see themselves. They don't put a mirror in front of themselves, to see their stupidity, their moronness. That's why that country is messed up. The elites messed that country up. And it's like a Yoruba proverb that said, the child is stupid and you're saying it should not die. There's no bigger poison than stupidity. These are the people we wasted money on sending them to school. Look at the kind of question he's asking. How do Aisha Yusuf fix the Senate? And you have 109 senators you can call for an interview. Oh man, well, stupidity, man.
we go on from there? We need to understand there's a pattern. And there was something that was really on, because remember, there are always remote. I told you I've been here 6 before 7. I joined and I've been listening. We heard when former Senator Shehu Sani talked about the fact that he almost got a suspension when he decided to reveal how much they were earning at the Senate. We've seen Senator Ninki, who got a suspension because of the fact that he came out to say that the budget was padded. We've seen other lawmakers who have. And to understand that there is a pattern whenever anybody speaks for Nigeria, stands for Nigeria, or they're fighting for their right, they are being suspended. How do we prevent this? It's for Nigeria to understand that this is not just about the senators that are out there. This is about every one of us. Are we standing to defend these senators? Are we standing to speak on their behalf? Are we standing to say enough is enough? The Senate should not do this. That is the way. It's a message we have to start. Otherwise, we have a court-like, mafia-like institution that punishes anybody that goes against its own rules. But the other thing, we saw the IG of police coming in to present a budget and bringing in something different from what had been given to the other senators. When one of the senators raised that, it was his own colleagues, other senators, that came after him. If we continue to look at those things and we do nothing, then we continue to do it. It is time for Nigerians to stand and call every one of them to order. It might be difficult. Do we need to start a recalling process? Yes, it might look impossible, but just taking on the issue and say, oh, it is what it is, questions on based on what rule was broken, what rule was not broken, it's not going to get.
We have to start by calling those stupid journalists to order. They have to ask serious questions, not frivolous, childish, like elementary school children. Even elementary school children will not ask such stupid questions. How much more journalists that claim to have gone to school? Even if they are hungry and they are dying, the country is dying. Children yet on board are going to suffer because some people fail to do their job and do it right. You're asking Aisha Yusuf how to fix the Senate. If she is in the Senate, you should be asking the 109 senators that you have. That's Nigerians' problem. The elites are Nigerians' problem. They are the ones that have messed our country up. They are the miseducated black house Negroes. Yes, I call them by that. House Negroes. fools that are embarrassing the black race. That's who they are, and we have to call them by their name. They are hypocrites and depraved and ignorant. How can those who went to school be asking such questions? How do you now educate the people that did not go to school? These are the issues we should be talking about. And Aisha Yusuf was right. And that journalist is a sicko, slow, ignorant idiot. One of those that told her to stand up for some nasty National Assembly, national anthem song. These are issues. This is why we are here, to raise issues against the elite. Call them to order. If you've gone to school, shine your light. Put your light on the table. Let it illuminate your people. Let the quality of life of your people be better. Not because you want to drive a Rolls Royce or you think you're living in Banana Island that you have arrived and you're surrounded by poverty. That's a shame. Let's continue.
We need to understand that this happenings, there's a pattern to it, and it is affecting the quality of governance in our country.
Mr. Ayokwe, let's come to you on this particular issue, and I'd like us to stay on the merit of the conversation. What triggered this was just not had health out of the window. Even as at yesterday, she was still sitting down when the Senate president was walking in. They have their rules, they have their rules. So my question is, where do we draw the line between protecting institution and allowing people to have their freedom of expression at the end of the day when there's a conflict between both? You've raised a question that what they did yesterday was in breach of section, I think 4(8) of the Constitution, and you raised all of these legalese around it. So between protecting institution, which we clearly saw that they dwelt on it yesterday, on that premise they suspended her, and she making a valid, serious allegation that border on civil and criminal nature against the Senate president, and it was thrown out initially is a subject of adjudication. She said, no, I never filed such shit. Where do we balance? Because that is a core conversation. Just as Mrs. Yusufu has said, something that happened to Mr. Shehu Sani as he tweeted.
Well, let me start by saying that I never sought to denigrate the person or integrity of the interviewer. I was talking about the sheer pedestrianization by the Nigerian Senate of a very serious issue. You see, the way you frame a question will determine the answer you get. The weight of the allegation of sexual harassment, what I'm saying, is far heavier and bigger than simply bringing a petition signed by you when you are the victim, not knowing that somebody else should have petitioned on your behalf. And that's why I use the word pedestrianization. Now, which institution are you protecting? In protecting an institution, you don't validate or ventilate illegality. In protecting an institution, it is not about protecting the present occupant of the seat. It is about the rules, constitutionalism. I would have loved to hear you question about why a matter that went to court, why being sub judice, while a valid order of court had been given, was simply overridden. And they said, go to hell, we don't want to wait for the court order. Is it not part of the reasons that the Supreme Court in the Rivers State case decided because there was a court order which they said the state government did not obey? Why is this different? Why are we asking questions about protecting a system? If a system is bad, it needs to be thrown overboard. If a law doesn't make sense, nobody is bound to obey it. The days are gone when we will be blackmailed. I was an active citizen during the days of military dictatorship. We fought against the rules, which we saw were violative of our personhood, our dignity of the human person. So we were not bound by under any jurisprudential disposition to obey a law which simply denigrates our personhood. So what I'm saying in essence is that it is antithetical to common sense. It's got to be thrown overboard. And there is no question of protecting an occupant of a seat. Rather, we should protect the institution. Should not be swept under the carpet, under any guise. Because this is not the first time, like Aisha Yusuf did, and this is not going to be the last. If we can't stand up to the system because we simply want to protect an occupant of a seat, then that's too bad.
Okay, let me bring it to Ms. Aisha Yusufu on this one. Same question, because sometimes I think the argument is about the person against institution and all of that. But you raise a very valid point as to the rules. And my interest, especially I'm happy you're a woman, is the public perception that the hallowed chamber is not safe for women. That perception, whether it's right or wrong, is a question of debate. But if we say that, given that we just have 4 women and 105 men, if I flip the page, maybe something different can happen. How do we ensure that we insist as a people that the issues of sexual harassment allegations, for an example, is not tolerated, and there should be a clear-cut rule in the National Assembly as to how to, so that women will be further protected? Just let's begin from there first.
So the thing is this: women are not protected in Nigeria, and literally every woman in Nigeria that you see lives with PTDS, and we are always on the edge. Right now, what you see is the fact that we have a lot of sexual allegations around. We have a lot of victims. Now we have a distinguished senator whose voice has been shut down when she has come out to cry, who is actually being shamed both by her colleagues and also some members of the public. So you imagine if a senator does not have the safe space for her to dare to speak out, what then about other women and what they're going through? I think the first thing that we need to see that leads to a place whereby will not be tolerated in Nigeria. You know, we needed to have a place where they will say, even when the Senate president was accused of sexual harassment, step down, let this issue hearing on this, let the matter be taken, let's see what the facts are, voices, put the whole case, pushing it under the table, and this sends a very strong message to perpetrators that, you know, it's a place where you can do whatever you want to do and nothing is going to come out of it. Any other persons at the National Assembly are being sexually harassed, speak. Now they've been told if they dare to do anything, this is going to happen. How many other women or sometimes even men, because sexual harassment goes either way. It's a matter of power. People who feel they're in power, they can do. How many other victims do we have all across Nigeria who are going through this? So that's why, for me, when we make this issue about some following rule and not following rule, that's not the crux of the matter.
That's something to consider.
Allegation against the Senate president.
Indeed.
And judge on a matter that concerned him in the
Indeed, you're right on the money, Mrs. Yusufu. That's something to consider, the possibility that many more are going through this, and because of fear of persecution, they're unable to speak up. But I'm glad you talked about having joined in on the program before 7, and you heard much of the conversation. But if you did, then you would have also noted of the ground, talking about the relativism of sexual harassment. Colleagues did not sign the petition on her behalf. And indeed, the question you asked earlier about whether or not we asked if the Senate president should recuse himself, that was also covered by my colleague Jeffrey. And I, in fact, also asked, you know, why she didn't get the measure of support required from her female colleagues. So we at Channels Television, we're objective, we're unbiased, we cannot, queue up beside the senator who has made the allegation alone. We have to cover all sides to the story. So I apologize if we did not, put out much of the sentiments that you would rather have heard. So let me proceed with this now, and I'll appreciate it if you can answer
add a bit of an addendum.
60 seconds.
You remember I said at one time the Zoom, I was out of the Zoom. I noted that. So I saw you covered quite a lot, and I did mention when I was speaking that at one time, the Zoom had a glitch, so they had to take us out. We rejoined, and I mentioned that. So there were things that you said. Of course, you did talk about the things around the area, but what has to be said has to be said.
It's just important.
Yes, you guys
put it
the
out
whole
there
point,
that we haven't trivialized the issue.
I did, and I said I had to go out because of the Zoom this thing.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So here's.
I've heard you.
Here's the final poser there. We didn't see, we in fact saw a male senator pleading for leniency for Senator Natasha. And I'm wondering why the female senators, 4 of them, none of the female senators stood up for her by any measure. So what does this say really about that commentary that women time and again try to, reduce the impact of, which is why, perhaps whether women do not support each other?
If I may come in here, I think that the opposition may not be supportive of such sweeping generalization. It may be for some personal interest, because some of us felt, somehow we are taken aback when we saw a particular female senator who had even been abused by the same system, who had in the past complained, lining up to say as if to say she was using it as an opportunity to get back in the favor of the books of those who run the system. So the fact that none of them spoke up against what was happening is not just evidence that women fight themselves. It's maybe evidence that they are also afraid of being blacklisted, or being threatened, or even being denied their rights if they are seen to be supportive of this one who more or less has gone against the system. So that is my perspective of that. Let's not use that fact to make a sweeping generalization. The system has a big hammer in its hands, and anybody who seems to support may not be hammered immediately. They may be looking for opportunities to hammer that person in due course. And very few persons are interested in positioning themselves for hammering.
All right. And I think that should be the way forward now, how to ensure that the institution alone is not protected, but people are also protected, whether they're minority, the vulnerable, or what have you. Everybody's right should matter. We have to thank you so much, Mr. Ezeon Yekbere, Lead Director, Center for Social Justice, as well as Aisha Yusufu. She calls herself an active Nigerian citizen. Thank you so much for your time. Ramadan Mubarak to you, Ms. Yusufu. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Yes, that was interesting. Olumide Baba, thanks for joining, Ojare.
Yeah, man. Sorry, I missed some of your sessions. I said, sorry, I missed some of your sessions.
How things now?
Schedule has been tight.
Yeah.
I'm all good.
I know. Even for me, God, by the time I come back, my body don't move and I sleep, no, at the job to go sleep. But we have to do these things. So, nobody's going to save that country, but if we all keep quiet, we have to just keep talking.
That's right.
Even me, God, I do all this stuff, no time, But plans still day ahead. I believe on the 22nd, Daily will join us. Then Malibu should join us once I fix a date. I've not fixed the date yet.
Sure.
Whichever date, I'll coordinate with you for us to know when to get Malibu. But so far, so good. At least we have what we have. You see, I believe my own family that 3 problems, Lani. One is the Nigerian elite. One is the collective silence. Àwọn tó ń dákẹ́, àwọn Agbadorians, àwọn tó ń support wọn. Collective silence, then the elites themselves. A gbọ́dọ̀ face ara wa. A gbọ́dọ̀ dẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bora wa. Until we do that, we no dey go anywhere. Whatever we have to do, we must call them out. All these unbalanced view. I don't want to offend nobody. Anybody. Because the damage these people are doing, it goes beyond this generation. We're talking of 10 generations yet unborn are being damaged.
That's right.
We all just going to accept it. Are we just going to just keep accepting it and say, well,
That's right.
you know? But that being said as it may, the elites are the problem. Oh, the elites and the collective silence. If we don't deal with those ones first, really deal with the big man, with the real problem of those in government. But if àwọn journalists bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn bá wọ coat pẹ̀lú tó ń tí ní ṣòkòtò tó wọ̀ tó ń sọ kátàkátà, it continue, they make the problem last longer. We're looking at another 100 years of this hardship. They can't ask questions. Then they've set out all their dogs against this woman. Usually, I don't get involved in their fight. This is an elite versus elite fight. They're but that woman for now represents us. Because whatever is happening to her, that's Nigeria happening to her.
Yeah.
And if Nigeria is happening to her, it's happening to every other person also. So we must stand and say we resist this. That's the only thing. It's not like I want to get involved in their fight. They're all the same. You understand?
Yeah, that's right.
But that's a fact.
No, that's right.
That's a fact.
There are some situations that will seem like there are some situations. It's just let me give you this analogy. It's just like when, for instance, a female person is sentenced to serve some kind of time in prison. Maybe that female person even committed murder. A capital offense, and is sentenced to prison. So we won't say because the court found her guilty and she was sentenced to life or some number of years in prison, then that gives authority for the prison warders or any member of the prison warding system or officers to take advantage of her. You understand? Or maybe forcefully have their way on her. You understand? So you can't say because you understand, you can't say because she's an offender, and then you now want to use that to she's already serving punishment. There are rules and regulation guiding our society on how when you commit an offense you'll be punished, and then you now forcefully have your way. So we can't say because she's a member of the elite or member of the system that has a faulty foundation or is not well run, that there's something wrong happens to her. Because what has happened to her can happen to any of our daughters, our sisters, our wives, our mothers. You understand? They can be harassed maybe at work.
Yeah.
This is what you call workplace harassment. So they can they can be harassed at work. So it's something that is fundamental to every society. So we can't say because she's the beneficiary
of the system.
Then we say, oh, she deserves it. No. That's not the kind of
no.
That's not the kind of experience or situation that any human person, any human being, a female for that matter, would deserve. So,
in fact, because she's a member of their clique, and this is happening to her, that's why those of us who are not members should even be more afraid. Because if this can happen to a big woman, what would happen to a small man or woman?
I mean, think of what has even happened to lesser known individuals who are afraid to speak out, or they've been threatened not to speak out. So this is just a situation that goes against or speaks to the kind of society we live in.
Yeah.
So that differentiates.
It is. And then they launch all their attack dogs on her. I will show you one night if you only you have time. Although I want by 9, I want round although I don't tire. Let me go work today.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
don't
That's why I
where
quickly came into it. Me go.
make you make my don't tire. I wait, I go that one I go show. I don't even run commentary on that one. I will just let that one play. Wait, that woman came out to disprove all these lies Reno Omokri has been going to
I
lie
think I saw
against
that
her.
one.
Can you
I
imagine?
saw that one.
With fake passport, that's going to be my last video. And after that, I just exit out. I'm a little bit tired and I need some rest. But we have to, all I know is that we have to keep talking, whatever we say.
Yeah,
And
that's right. I mean, yeah.
Allah the case around, we have to face ourselves. We have to,
we have to keep.
all those clowns from the other place, those I'm talking about, that always want I want to push here one year. It is not a likely thing
and
because
and
lives
and
are being
and and
affected.
the funny thing is that with this in this day and age and modern times, you don't they just keep leaving stupid trails, evidence of their stupidity, their lies. And I mean,
Exactly.
you can't sell a bad product. You can't just sell a bad product.
You can't.
And I mean,
You
it's just
can't.
well, it's unfortunate, but like I said, we just have to keep talking. That's all. If it's all right.
A sọ̀rọ̀ síbi tọ́rọ̀ wà, àwọn wèrè tó wà láàrin wa ká pè wọ́n wèrè, ká pè wọ́n lólè, ká pè wọ́n lásìnwín, whatever name we have to call them. We can't let them just be coming and dabazu. You know what parts always make me angry? When they come up and grab the microphone and start talking as if they have intelligence, doing psychoanalysis that doesn't
Tí o
make sense.
wọ́n máa analyze the election, shambolic election tó ṣe lórí fake numbers lórí. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm like,
Psychoanalysis that doesn't even make sense.
you guys.
To start being intelligent with a high level of stupidity. Ó máa ń rún mí nínú ni ìgbà míì máa kàn fẹ́ máa fẹ́ dà aláwọn soundbite kan bì máa kàn fẹ́ dà wọ́n gbà tí àníwọ̀n àníbi yẹ̀wò ti slap ni mò ń wá mi ìbọn mi tó wà nínú wọn oríṣiríṣi anyway jẹ́ ká fìyẹn lẹ̀ á tún máa sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn mo kàn fẹ́ á sọ̀rọ̀ lórí yẹn díẹ̀ máa ń ṣe
Okay, no problem.
I'll call it a day for now because man don't tire. I don't feel like
yeah, exit kò sí wàhálà.
But ọjọ́ tí ẹjọ́ tẹ́yìn boys bá fẹ́ chit chat on any issue kò jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ so that pápá kan set it up and we go.
Okay, kò sí wàhálà.
Ó ṣe gan Olúmídé. Ṣé tone ṣì wà background? It's to you tone. I see you there o.
Èmi mọ̀ bí ó lè máa wò ó lè máa watch now.
It's going to be around 1 or 2. It's early in the morning, midnight. Let me show that last video and I'll call it a day. I will talk to you guys later.
All right, yeah.
I won't run any commentary on that.
Okay, I have to master.
Sorry, yeah, we should go. Yes, I'm going to use our last video for the day, and that will be our last video. And then let me put that one on. It shows how Reno Omokri, one of the attack dogs for these terrible people, went on an attack launch that the woman has accused him before. Meanwhile, he presented false passports and false information, and so Niger Watch kind of brought that to light in this video. So I'm sharing that with you all, and that will be our last conversation for the day, and I'll be checking out. Thank you. I can only do 2 hours today. I do not have the energy to, so I can't even do 2 hours, to be honest. Anyway, let me play that, and then you all can hear it.
Then Reno Omokri went on by saying, he no do am, say he no even dey the country that time. They come provide some passport and some stamps and everything. Natasha Akpoti don't come out. Come debunk these old lies. Una go shock if una watch this video of Natasha Akpoti. Even after listening to Natasha Akpoti, now I will be playing Reno Omokri's video again so that both of them can tally and synonymously go together. My people, listen to what Natasha, Senator Natasha, a smart woman, a brave, the only brave woman right now we have in Nigeria that we can see and feel. My people, listen to what she has to say.
Good afternoon, Nigerians. I am Natasha Akpoti, the Kogi State gubernatorial candidate to the 2019 elections. It's an honor to be connected with you and to be given a chance to clarify some issues that came up during the face-off between Mr. Reno Omokri and myself. I did lay some accusations against him of being flirtatious towards me at the May 2014 state banquet dinner held in honor of President Uhuru Kenyatta, which of course led to the signing of the bilateral agreement between Kenya and Nigeria. Now, Mr. Reno Omokri debunked my accusation, saying that he wasn't even in the country on that day. He went as far as saying he wasn't in Nigeria for the whole of May and the better part of June. And he went forth to put out pages of his international passport, especially those that contained stamps, which he leans on to bolster his claim. So according to his post, he said, I might have seen his ghost, and his ghost might have been the one that made the advances towards me. But you see, my fellow Nigerians, I'm here to let Mr. Reno Omokri know that we are not as gullible and as stupid as he thinks we are. And I would like to call on the expertise of the Nigerian immigration officers to kindly join in clarifying the stamps in his passport. I have made a printout of his passport page, as you can see. I hope it's clear enough. This is his biodata page, and here is the page with the 3 stamps. Now, Mr. Reno said that he left Nigeria on the 28th of April 2014 and returned on the 23rd of June 2014. Many people believed what he said. Should I say, few people believed what he said. Because indeed, there is a stamp showing 23rd of June 2014. But if you are a traveler and you have traveled outside Nigeria, you realize that there are 2 stamps that the Nigerian immigration usually issues. One is that which is stamped for travelers leaving Nigeria, which has the SOD, meaning seen on departure. And the other stamp, which is issued for travelers arriving in Nigeria, and it has the SOA stamp, which is seen on arrival. So let's see what stamp Mr. Reno Omokri's, what date Mr. Reno Omokri's stamp of the 23rd of June has. What does it carry? On top here, you will see SOD, which means on the 23rd of June 2014, Mr. Reno Omokri departed Nigeria. He traveled out of Nigeria. Mr. Reno Omokri did not arrive Nigeria on the 23rd of June. He left Nigeria. The upper stamp you see here is 23rd of July 2014, and it has SOA, which means seen on arrival. It means Mr. Reno Omokri was in Nigeria on the 23rd, in Nigeria on the 22nd, in Nigeria a week before, a month before. And that means Mr. Reno Omokri was present in May at the dinner, because I know I saw him, and he only traveled outside the shores of Nigeria on the 23rd of June 2014 because it was stamped SOD, seen on departure. He spent a month on holiday and then returned to the country on the 23rd of July. It's here. The immigration officers would not be stupid enough to make a silly mistake and swap the stamps. Now also you might ask, what about the April 28 American stamp, which he says proves his entry? Now this is actually a parole stamp, which can stand as a parole visa. Now this is not a regular stamp that is given to visitors who are entering the United States of America. A parole visa, which your Google search can help you, is given to people who are on the watch list, sometimes people who are on the terrorist list, people who are not visitors, who are not free, who don't have the liberty to stay in America without being monitored closely by the immigration officers and police. That is when they are issued the parole visa. I don't know what offenses Mr. Reno Omokri might have committed there, but this parole visa, even though it's a 2-year visa, 2-year stamp, even though it holds April 28, 2014, valid till 16 July 2016, it doesn't mean he stayed there that long. It doesn't mean that he stayed there for 1 month or 2 months. It could mean that he entered America, spent 1 day, spent 2 days, however it is. He definitely returned to Nigeria for him liberty to stay in America without being monitored closely by the immigration officers and police. That is when they are issued the parole visa. I don't know what offenses Mr. Reno Omokri might have committed there, but this parole visa, even though it's a 2-year visa, 2-year stamp, even though it holds April 28, 2014, valid till 16 July 2016, it doesn't mean he stayed there that long. It doesn't mean that he stayed there for 1 month or 2 months. It could mean that he entered America, spent 1 day, spent 2 days, however it is. He definitely returned to Nigeria for him to have been able to travel on the 23rd of June. But what Mr. Reno Omokri has not shown Nigerians is his arrival stamp into Nigeria after this visit of April 28. He refused to show us that stamp, which is possibly on other pages in his passport, or it could either be in his diplomatic passport, his official passport, because most government officials actually have either the blue or the red passport. So Mr. Reno Omokri, I am telling you now that you were in Nigeria at the state banquet dinner. That was such an August event, and you were the head of new media for Mr. President. There is no way you would have missed that gracious event. You were there. And you were in the country, because that is what your stamp says. It's here, 23rd of June. You were stamped in, and you can actually see the arrow. Now, it is not possible. Time moves ahead. We don't go back in time for you to say, okay, you left Nigeria on the 23rd of June, 2014, and arrived America April 28. It's not possible. We don't go back in time. We move ahead. So what you need to do, Mr. Reno Omokri, if you want to convince Nigerians, is provide the stamp, the immigration stamp, that is between April 28 and 23rd of June 2014 to prove that you actually entered, spent time, and departed. You can even see the arrow going out of the box, which shows the traveler leaving Nigeria, and in all seen on arrival, the arrow, comes in. So I hope I've been able to draw your attention to the misconception in Mr. Reno Omokri's post, stating that he was not in the country and that I was just I only created these accusations to smear his image.
My people, to be honest, before we continue, let me retally with Reno Omokri's statement again. I don't want to balance the lies. That's when you will know that Reno Omokri cannot and can never be trusted. Listen to Reno Omokri. But people like Nigeria Watch Media, we will go extensively. I repeat, we will go extensively. We don't just do what we are doing here today. I personally, I studied film and media in one of the prestigious university in the United Kingdom, Cambridge. So we go extensively to show you wetin be lie and wetin be truth. We work with third parties. We don't just come on air to deceive the people because we want to talk. Reno Omokri lied, and the lies were debunked. Natasha Akpoti, this one a woman every Nigerian needs to respect at this moment. I'm telling you, I wish everybody can be this outspoken, can be this brave, can go extra mile to speak truth to power. Natasha Akpoti, I personally, I have so much respect for you, man. I have so much respect for you. I don't know what you will say about this because it's a shocking one, but put it on the comment section. What's your take on this? This is Nigeria.
Yeah, that's our presentation for today. We will be back with more presentation later on. We want to thank those of you who have found time to join us. Tone, Olumide, and all the other people in the comment section that have joined us. We are very grateful. We will continue to speak truth to power and continue to expose the insanity that is Nigeria. Like we said, we are an alternative media house trying to raise awareness and enlightenment for the Nigerian people so that they can free the shackles and the chains that is holding them down. Nigeria is not it's a crime scene. The people are in bondage. The people are in pain. The people are suffering because of house Negroes that have taken over their government and making the people suffer so hard because they are working for the slave masters. They are plantation managers. They're not kingsmen. They might look like us, but they are not like us. We set up this radio station to address this issue. We believe that we have only three problems. One is our collective silence. We all cannot be silent with all these detrimental things that we are seeing, the hardship, the poverty, the looting, the crimes. And two, the enemies within, which is our own brothers and sisters who some of them don't even know that they are their own enemies that are contributing and sharing all this negativity that is destroying the country and the people. And the last group of people, which are the elites, the educated ones, those that have jackpot, those that are abroad, those that are the big men who continue to cheer along or who continue to remain silent. These are the three problems Nigeria has. It doesn't have a tribal problem. In fact, it has a collection of thieves from every tribe. This is what we are trying to change. And we thank you for joining us. Our time for today has expired. We are about to go back to our regular radio production. Join us on the movementpublicradio.com and watch all our production and music, news, and everything that we are doing. We have so many programs lined up for you. Thank you for joining us today. We'll talk to you later.